All right, what's going on, guys? It's Trader here, and you're watching HawgBeat's midweek recruiting roundup. We've got a loaded show for you today. And it all starts off with Arkansas adding commitment number 6 in the 2023 class. Caleb James out of Mansfield, Texas. Huge pickup for the staff, has been a target of theirs for a really long time. Also, could we see another one sooner rather than later in that 23 class? We recap junior days, as well as taking a look at my newest big board up at HawgBeat.com. But before we get into all that, make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. We have film breakdowns. There was a new one that went up covering 2 of Arkansas's 2022 offensive linemen just today. We also have, practice clips, press conferences. We have full episodes of the HawgBeat out every single Friday. Andrew Hutchinson does some great Know the Foe segments. Just always trying to add some new stuff to the YouTube. And this is, one of those new things that we're trying to add, as well as those film breakdowns every single Wednesday. As well as that, go check out HawgBeat.com. We've got everything you need to know about Arkansas athletics. We're in the heart of basketball season. Hutch, Mason, Jackson are doing a great job of covering that team. A team that is kind of finding their stride in SEC play right now, as well as baseball season being right around the corner. And it's never a bad time to talk about some Arkansas Razorback football. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now. But yeah, go check out what Andrew Hutchinson, Mason Choate, and Jackson Collier are doing, as well as myself over at HawgBeat.com. Everything you need to know if you're a Razorback sports fan trying to follow what's going on with any of Arkansas's teams. Without further ado, let's get into, probably the biggest news of the week, and that is Caleb James coming out and really, doing something that I had kind of predicted for a little bit. I did put a future cast in November, but nonetheless made Arkansas his new home. Announced that he was going to be committing to Arkansas and coming to play Arkansas yesterday on his birthday. Massive pickup, 5.73 star in the Rivals database. Could argue that might be a little bit low rating wise. Currently listed as the number 33 strong side defensive end in the country. Had 20 other offers. Final 6 of Baylor, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, SMU, Texas, Texas Tech, or not Texas, SMU, Texas Tech, and Arkansas. That was his final 6. Came out a couple of weeks ago, and at that point, it was kind of a 2-man race between Oklahoma and Arkansas. And Oklahoma really fell off when that whole Lincoln Riley drama went on. So not too surprising, but nonetheless, it's a huge pickup for that defense. Just a couple of weeks after you get Dallas Young, able to add another defensive commit to the class. It looks like Arkansas is really starting to build something strong there. Now the 5th ranked class in the country. Still early in the cycle, but if you keep stacking these guys, you could find Arkansas really in that top 10 race, top 15 race. When it comes down to crunch time in the 2023 cycle. James has been in town a number of times in 2021, and most recently Saturday for junior days. He had a great great junior season, 10 sacks, 94 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, and 3 fumbles recovered at Nolan Catholic this year. And he's going to be transferring to Mansfield, which is big news if you're an Arkansas fan and following recruiting, because there just so happens to be a 4-star safety target named Brendan Joseph over at Mansfield, who visited Arkansas for the Texas game, has ties to Arkansas, and really could be one of the next couple of guys to announce that he's going to be committing to Arkansas. Really want to keep an eye on him, and now having a guy on the inside of that program to potentially recruit for you could be a huge thing in attempting to go after Joseph. I do not, however, think that we're going to see Joseph as the next commit for this 2023 class. I do believe that that's going to be on the offensive side of the ball, and I do think that it's looking like it's going to be Bixby, Oklahoma tight end. Luke he was ranked the number 3 tight end in the 2023 class. That's down from where he was before. Really, really talented kid, included Arkansas in his final schools before he committed to Oklahoma in August. And once again, with the whole Lincoln Riley fallout, there's just so much going on the trail, and with those guys who were committed or looking at Oklahoma, there's really no telling what's going to happen. But Arkansas does look to be in a very, very good position for Has. He has a sister and an aunt who both graduated from Arkansas, came on a visit earlier this summer, was here for junior days as well, and is sitting pretty with 33 offers. I did put in a future cast for Has to come to Arkansas over the weekend, as well as Sam Spiegelman, one of Rivals national writers, putting one in. You're seeing him pop up as well on some other sites. So it's looking like it's trending that way. Arkansas looking like the leader in the clubhouse. What's interesting about that situation, though, is Arkansas already has 2 tight end commits in the 2023 class in a really talented guy, Shamar Easter, and a really talented guy, Jaden Ham. I know Easter Ham, we've seen the pun. I'm not going to make it here, but those are 2 guys who committed back-to-back days. And really, once you saw those commits, you thought, okay, I think Arkansas is set at the position. Dow Loggins had a really, really solid class. And now you're seeing it pop up that, oh, wow, we might be seeing another tight end come to Arkansas. And I think what I'm hearing is that that's a really big aspect in why, in the pitch that Arkansas is making to Luke Hez. This could go down as one of the best tight end classes in recent memory. And you better believe that Arkansas is using that as a pitch, that this could be a historic group for the Razorbacks. And I think that adding Has would certainly move towards that being the case for the Razorbacks. No commitment yet, no commitment date scheduled. We don't know necessarily that that's what's locked in, but I think if Arkansas is looking for a third tight end, which I don't know that they were necessarily doing before that decommitment. I just don't think that Has is a guy you can refuse. And it's looking like he's very, very interested in Arkansas. So keep an eye out on that situation, as well as, what we could be seeing from it. And moving on to what I think is probably, I guess you'd have to say, the second biggest bit of news from this week. It was the first of 3 junior days for Arkansas. They hosted prospects this past Saturday. They'll have prospects in town this Saturday, as well as, the following Saturday, January 29th, to close it out. And despite the snow, despite the bad road conditions, the poor weather, you saw a really massive turnout for Arkansas. And I think that's really something that the coaches were very much looking forward to, but I don't know if you can say they were expecting it once they saw the forecast. And a lot of players were out there. You saw a lot of talent. You saw James, you saw Has, you saw a couple other guys, Anthony Evans and Joey Sewell were in town too, 2023 commits. Then they were posting on Twitter. Joey is one of the biggest guys in terms of recruiting for Arkansas, even though he's already committed. You see him everywhere, all over Twitter, all over his Instagram. Really, he's all hog, and especially for someone who technically is an in-state kid but didn't grow up in Arkansas, you wouldn't necessarily expect it. But it's a lot of recruiting being done by Joey Sewell to make Arkansas a desirable location. So I'm sure the staff is happy with that. As for players who aren't committed, we saw 2024 Little Rock Christian quarterback Walker White in town. He is the brother of the now transferred John David White, transferred to UCA this morning. He's his brother, as well as Zach White's brother, who plays baseball. And he has 3 FBS offers right now, not one from Arkansas. And interestingly enough, he was invited to the camp. The staff said they want to take a look at him. Interestingly enough, says an Arkansas offer would mean the exact same as any other school, despite having 2 brothers that were at Arkansas and being a kid from Little Rock. It's really kind of interesting, and it makes you wonder, is he being real, or is he trying to just make it seem like, oh, if he gets the Arkansas offer, it's just going to be another one, so that other schools still stay interested. I'm not really sure. Nonetheless, it's a talented quarterback, and it's an interesting story to follow. As well as that, you saw a guy that I was really impressed with his size. I did a story about him before. It's Texas 4-star offensive tackle Conor Strow. He's massive. He's 6'7", 345 pounds. And he was on campus earlier this year for the Mississippi State game, has offers from Baylor, Florida State, Indiana, SMU, Texas. Really is looking for one from Arkansas. Is very fond of the place. And I think it's just a matter of time until we see a guy like Sam Pittman really go out and get an offensive tackle of that size that wants to be here. You really need to send that offer out and start building that relationship. And I think from what we've heard from Conor so far, that the foundation is there, but the offer isn't yet. And that's ultimately going to come down to be a huge part for college football players and college athletes, even more broadly. Also in Texas, we saw Ashton Porter, who's another 4-star. He's really glad that he came out to Arkansas. He's on the defensive side of the ball. Maybe the staff's trying to build that momentum. 5.84 star out of Cypress Ranch. He has an impressive offer sheet. He has 20, a lot of offers. And I talked to him in Arkansas, came away as a top school for him. They joined Baylor, Texas, and Texas Tech in his top schools. And one big reason for that was, Sam Pittman, his philosophy of getting to know him as a person before he got to know him as a player. And I think, you hear that a lot, that it's about that Pittman cares about the guys that he brings in. And I think, hearing from Porter, that's really what he's telling you, that Pittman wants to know him more as a person than a football player first. And I think that's very important when you're building trust with someone, and getting them to say, hey, my son is going to be able to come here, and I know that I can trust you. I think that's a massive part of recruiting, and it's something that it looks like Pittman's doing a pretty good job of recognizing and acting on. And finally, we have at the wide receiver position, which I did just drop a big board on. Make sure you guys take a look at that over at HawgBeat.com. If you guys want to see what Arkansas's kind of big board is looking like at the position for 2023, already have Anthony Evans locked in. Another name to keep an eye on is Cole Adams out of Owasso, Oklahoma. Had a track meet in Arkansas, was kind of trying to figure out a way to where he could do both that and the junior day. Ended up just doing the junior day. And he said he was excited about doing that. I think he believes he made the right decision in doing that. It looks like it's Arkansas's #1 target remaining in this class right now. He's a speedster. He's really, he's got wheels. He does track, but he's also able to use his hands and go up and get the ball. And that's very impressive from that position. 8 offers. He's got Iowa State, Kansas State, TCU, Texas Tech, as well as Wisconsin and a couple others. The rest of this class is kind of hard to project position wise at the wide receiver position, just because a lot of the guys Arkansas is in on don't necessarily have the rating or the acclaim yet. I think one guy that you really should keep an eye on is in-state receiver out of El Dorado, Deandra Burns. Really watched his film this morning, was really impressed. The staff wants to get him back out there, and the staff was in on him early. Don't let the fact that there's not a rivals rating on him just yet fool you. I think he's going to be a massive target for this class as we get into the later stretch of the 2023 cycle. That is going to do it for us here on the recruiting roundup. This is the first midweek recruiting roundup we're doing. I do have a roundup that goes up in written form every Friday at HawgBeat.com, as well as, like I mentioned before, just so much more. Make sure definitely, if you're an Arkansas sports fan, to go check that out and see what we have going on over on the site, as well as, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys liked about it in the comments. Let me know what you maybe didn't like or would like to see me change. And we can certainly workshop some stuff. With that said, that is going to do it for me here. I'm Alex Trader, and I will see you next time.